Today, I have a very special guest with me, Cohen. Now, Dov is a very interesting person. He invited us to spend a day with him at, where are we today?
We're at the Wadsworth Medical Center in Los Angeles, which is the largest facility in the Western United States.
Facility for what?
Or VA medical.
Oh, that's the
veterans.
We missed that part.
Veterans.
Right. So we're in the largest VA facility, Veterans Administration facility, right, in the state or in Southern California?
In Southern California.
In Southern California.
And I come here because I am a veteran of the Vietnam War, served as a chaplain in the European theater for 4 years and then 4 years in the reserves.
Which branch were you in?
Air Force.
Air Force. Oh,
we got you to where you had to go.
Okay, there we go. That's important. Now, one of the reasons we're meeting here today, we visited a veteran who was in a very bad accident, but now our kosher meals program has now taken a new level of being involved with veterans. Part of our organization is we endorse chaplains in the United States military and VA and the prison system, but in particular we're now been introduced to the VA world, to the veterans, and how much they need attention, interventions we call it. Now, Dov, could you tell me what your position is nationally in the Jewish war veterans and statewide? And also one more thing is to explain to people, what is the Jewish war veterans?
Sure. Okay, so the Jewish war veterans started in 1896. We are the oldest chartered veterans organization in the world. We also helped establish the American Legion in 1919. The veterans are the most underserved and in many cases undervalued of our population. And so for the national program, I serve as the End Homelessness Campaign Chairman. I created the program 5 years ago, and I've been administering it with my brothers and sisters in the American Legion, AMVETS, VFW, Vietnam Veterans of America. You name the group, they're involved in this End Homeless campaign. We are all volunteers. All of the positions I hold are volunteer positions. I'm also the Senior Vice Commander, which is the number 2 position, in the state of California Jewish war veterans, and with the proper support will become the commander for the state next year. In addition, I'm also the chairman of the board of the LA National Cemetery Support Foundation, where we provide funerals and burial for all veterans and their families. And we just opened a new columbarium that can accommodate up to 270,000 more funerals. We were closed for 20 years. We ran out of room.
So many people who are watching this show are veterans.
Yes, or families.
Families,
right.
Many families, and especially our program by and large caters to people who are 65 and older, which many at that age were involved with the war and being a veteran. And I think not that many people understand the Jewish war veterans and what they're involved and the activities of Jews serving in the military. You want to speak about that?
Well, most people don't realize that based on population, we exceed our numbers. We are 2% of the population of our country, but we have 4% of those serving on active duty. Also, the Jewish war veterans do a great deal more than advocate for Jewish veterans. What we do is fight anti-Semitism and any other type of prejudice and bigotry. As an example, we found that there were a number of Jewish veterans who should have received the Medal of Honor and didn't. 17 of them have now been awarded the Medal of Honor. We didn't stop there. We looked at African Americans, we looked at Hispanics, we looked at Muslims. We said, which of those should have received awards and decorations and did not? And those are now being processed. Our government's attitude is changing, thanks in great part to the Jewish war veterans of the United States. We're very proud of that.
I think it's a point that we're going to help through the media today,
yes,
get the word out Now, of course, we have the merit now of taking over the post down in South Orange County
Right.
with our commander and our organization sponsoring it, and I
Who is
drafted.
himself a former chaplain.
Right, he's a former, well, he's now a chaplain for the Coast
Awesome.
Guard. So
Okay.
he's now, our commander, Rabbi Montaneri, is the, probably gonna be a head chaplain of the West Coast for the Coast Guards and Reserve.
Wonderful.
And he's also the Jewish chaplain for the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
So we have our
And
hands.
he's the reason I'm sitting here, because he reached out and we connected, and here we are.
Right, so, and then we understood that the post needed some life, and
Yes.
so we breathed some life into it.
Invigoration.
Yeah, invigoration.
Yes.
So now, along with invigoration, as people understand that we deliver kosher meals,
Mhm.
also halal, and we deliver 21 meals a week, deliver 3 times a week. Now and you don't have to be Jewish to.
For those who don't know, halal primarily is for the Muslim population, and the Muslim population primarily buy kosher food because it meets the dietary requirements of
Right,
Muslims.
it quite exceeds it to a great
Yes.
extent, because it's based on our traditions.
Sure.
So now, we're meeting here, we'll discuss our intervention, because the statistics are that over 22 veterans a day commit suicide in the country.
Right.
We believe it's much
More.
north of that, but statistics, but
Those are the reported numbers.
but those numbers are still devastating.
They are.
So-
One is too many.
Well, yeah, one is too many. So, in Hebrew, that word pekuach nefesh, which is saving a life. So we believe by saving one person's life, we save the world. Right, so we're in the same page, right?
Sure.
And, but because of that, we see now that we do service many veterans, widows of veterans. There's men are predeceasing the women. So we're coming across many women that says, my husband was in World War II, he was in Iwo Jima, he was in France or in Germany.
The newly elected president of our LA National Cemetery is a woman Air Force veteran. First time since 1889 that a woman has been elected president of a national cemetery.
Wow, that's a big deal.
We are really moving forward and trying to set the standard as high as we can. She's very talented. We're very lucky to have Rebecca Adams with us.
So what we're looking to you is to help us identify veterans,
Sure.
because our intervention is such that when we go out there, our drivers, which many are veterans and will be veterans, serving veterans, that they can spot issues. Because we know when someone's given food and they're alone, if they don't know how to prepare it, they don't have the incentive to do so.
Sure.
And on top of it, most people this age are on meds. And when they don't follow the doctor's prescriptions, then their body gets
Sure.
out, and then they tell us some instances what happens when people are isolated like that.
Well, isolation is probably the key word that we can use. There are so many veterans and spouses of veterans. A veteran becomes ill and dies. Now you have a surviving wife. You may have a child who has some type of consistent chronological medical problems. And there's nobody really to look after them. Not everybody has a family support system. So it's very important that what you're talking about and what you're doing is changing their lives for the better. You deliver food, but you deliver hope. And people, as you said, can then identify problems that they observe and get that information back to somebody who can reach out to them and offer them some further support, whatever that may be.
See, the uniqueness of our program that you understand is many of the programs that deliver meals at home are like MREs. But explain to everyone what an MRE is. That's a...
I'm not familiar with the term.
Oh, so those are meals that we deliver the GI and the military.
Oh. Yeah, they're horrible. It's usually
Yes.
Yeah, they're usually they can be frozen. They can be heavily salted. Not really what somebody needs. What you're doing is providing freshly prepared, quality food by professional chefs, and you're delivering this to their home how many times a week?
3 times a week, but designed to meet 21 meals.
So there are multiple meals at each delivery.
Right, yeah.
And 21 meals a week. That's phenomenal. That's every single day.
Yeah, that's it. So,
3 meals. I mean, who could ask for better?
right, so, what we're.
How do I sign out?
Well, yeah, I think it might, I thought you stopped at 39 like Jack Benny.
No, I'll be 76. I'm
Oh,
young
thank
people.
God, thank
Yeah.
God. You know, that's a big deal. So if you're in Los Angeles County, you're in Orange County, you're in San Bernardino County, you're in Riverside County, hopefully soon San Diego County, you would just call our numbers by flashing across the screen beneath me over here, and they can call us to let us know if they want to join. And like I said, you don't have to be Jewish to join. But at the same time, our focus now, through having a forum like this, is to let people know in the government that there is another way. Like, we can't save everybody, but at the same time, the government is investing so much into veterans' health and safety, past being in the active duty component. You know, even in the active duty component today, when I started endorsing chaplains, this is 15, 16 years ago, there was a suicide every 24 hours in the active duty component, which is, even women, which is disastrous. So when I was in Washington last time, they said it's up 30%. So that's in the active duty component. You know, I don't say it's an excuse for veterans.
It's beyond anyone's comprehension, and the viewers are sitting there shaking their heads saying, how can that be?
Right. So
In this country, how can that be?
yeah, so it's very devastating to us.
Yeah.
So now, even when you go with psychologists, they can talk to people, but the difference is, they say in Hebrew, the pnimius, not the chitzonius, which means in English, like the inside, not the outside. So we're just not about talk, we're about action.
Sure.
So when you're interacting with someone, there's a pat them on the back and say, you know, well, Joe, how's it going today?
That's not good.
That's not good. No, they want to say, well, Joe, I got a menu for you. You know, I got chicken, I got steak, I got Parmesan, I got nice salads for you. So they have something to look forward to.
Sure.
And literally, a person's life, and besides all this virus stuff that's going on, isolation and preparation on when someone's own. You know, when you have a family, you're out there busting your chops, make sure they're happy. But when someone's alone, they don't know what to do, how to do it. They don't have it set. They don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Many of them have.
They don't have a reason.
Right.
That's the problem. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Pirkei Avot that I believe in and follow is the one that says it is not incumbent upon us to finish the work, but neither are we free to desist from it. And I've always paraphrased it saying to start it, because somebody else might finish, but you've got to get out there and do something.
Once upon a time, I practiced law. So I used to tell my clients is, listen, the business you start out with invariably is not going to look like the one you end up with.
Exactly.
So we learn that in Jewish philosophy, it says everything comes from heaven except the fear of heaven. And everything, because of that, still, it's incumbent us to do one thing: make efforts. So here we walk into your VA home over here, and we learn a whole lot of things. Now, you told me today about homeless veterans.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
One of the problems that's obvious, because if you drive through the streets of LA, you will see homeless veterans encamped everywhere. They're in Santa Monica, they're in Woodland Hills, they're not just downtown on Skid Row, they're everywhere. And the numbers are staggering. The last count, I believe, was over 28,000 veterans that are sleeping on the streets. Many of them have mental illness, but many of them do not. They've just given up. And by being able to reach out to them, people like Joe Leal with Vet Hunters Project is find them and help them, get them an appointment with a doctor, get them a phone card so they can call maybe the only friend they have in the world, and they have no way to reach them. So little things like that. They have hydration. They take vans of cold water out everywhere in the hottest days, and they make sure that everybody at least can have water.
So we're going to now, with your help,
and the help of all of the Jewish War veterans in California, and my fellow American Legionnaires, and AMVETS and VFW, all of them will help make this program
So
successful.
basically, you're going to help. We have an army,
An army of veterans.
armed veterans that are going to help. We hope to be just a little bit of a cog in that wheel to make this happen. I want to thank you for coming out here to the VA and just call us if you need us.
Absolutely.